my brothers and sisters, simplify. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea.
On this episode of Cigars and Sea Stories, Bennett and Mike sit down to discuss vets traveling around, maintaining business, all sorts of stuff. But we're a traveling generation. Like, getting off the grid, maybe living out of a van, a pop-up, an Airstream, whatever. But getting out there, being mobile, and maintaining a living. And a lot of our people that we're interviewing on here, I'm pretty sure we got an episode of Leo Jenkins coming up. Which, we're the last people that he spoke with prior to jumping off the grid. Down in Mexico.
It's a funny story about that, though. He's already back on the grid because what he expected to get done in was going to take him 3 weeks. Took him like 5 days.
To like write a book?
Yeah, basically. Or like just tighten some stuff up with one of his other books, I think is what he was doing, and do some other things. But he's already back up on the grid.
Love it.
It's pretty funny, though. But he's like, yep, that's what happens when you put your mind to shit. You know what I mean? And you block everything else out.
Yeah.
Get stuff done.
There you go. So it just goes to show you, why are a lot of these veterans going out on the road? In my opinion, it's to clear the head. If anything else, sold, a vast majority of the stories that I'm hearing, it goes somewhere along like this. Epiphany takes place. I sold all of my shit, jumped out on the open road, and wound up here either writing a book, yeah, sure, to whatever extent, but here was the experience that I had while I was out there, and now I'm back to share it with you. You know what I mean? That's kind of the general story
right.
that I'm getting from a few of these folks who are going out there. So, well,
they had a nice long article in it. If you go to I think it was the Army Times. And Leo was actually one of those guys that they interviewed for it. And yeah, that's basically what it was all about.
Right. Well, dude, it's such, okay, to put the word out there, it's a romantic notion
of course,
to outfit some sort of van or otherwise, like whatever your mode of transportation is going to be, the wackier the better. Like, do you know how many people have come up to me and said, dude, I got a bus that you guys could use? You know what I mean? Now, we've got a touring bus kind of waiting in the wings and a few other pieces for our own little travel and stuff like that. But there are a bunch of old school buses laying around and shit. And I've always thought that would be the coolest freaking camper. And you've seen what people have done before.
Oh, yeah, man. Absolutely.
Can you imagine, like, 3 or 4 jarheads in one school bus traveling across America? I'm sure that there's a short bus joke that's out there right now. Feel free to leave it in the comments.
The Marines ride the short bus.
The window.
I'm sure it has to do I'm sure it has to do with Marines and short bus.
I don't wear my helmet because it gets in the way of licking the window. Here's the thing, though, about making fun of, dumb jarheads and stuff like that. We'll fucking kill you. Anyway, wow, that escalated quickly. What about a pop-up? Like, I'm a fan of the pop-up camper. I'd be that guy.
Like, so the little, so the little ones that, like, and then you just pop it up and it opens up?
Well, it's basically like driving around a rectangle on 2 wheels.
And then it pops up and you got the shit on both sides.
Well, you got the crank. Remember the crank? Yeah, and then all 4 posts go up?
Actually, what's funny is I just looked at one earlier today.
They're nice, man.
I mean, they can be, for sure, right. Especially with camping. And it's like, I have 4 girls. Right. Everyone knows this, at least that listens to the podcast on a regular basis. Now, so I have a kick-ass tent, right?
Right.
But it's a tent. And at the end of the day, I think tents are a little pain in the ass sometimes, especially one that's this massive.
Yeah.
Because literally my whole family can camp in it,
Yeah.
6 of us. All 6 of us can camp in it.
Fuck yeah.
So it's kind of a pain. So I've been like, what can I do? Because my wife, she really just isn't a camper. She's just not, that's not her game. It's not her deal. And that's fine, whatever. So I've been looking more towards the idea of how can we do glamping? Because, just make it comfortable enough that we can still get out in the nature.
It's like literally why Airstream was created.
Correct. Exactly.
Right.
So with that being said, I the one thing I'm a big fan of, though, especially if you're either unaccompanied or it's just you and one other person and you don't have kids and stuff, are those little teardrop campers.
Yeah.
That you can even like pull behind like a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So I saw this one the other day. It was this couple had it, and you could tell he was a Marine, though. I didn't stop to talk to him because we were on the highway, but he had a Marine Corps sticker and stuff on it. You could see. So either him or like his kid or somebody was a freaking Marine, but
living the dream.
And they were headed down towards the beach here in Delaware, and they had like a massive Harley with like the whole get up, and it was pretty awesome. And then they had this teardrop camper that they were pulling behind it. I was like, that's badass.
Fuck yeah, that's doing it right.
So.
Dude, they've even got like little entertainment centers in those things where.
Oh yeah, I've seen it on the thing where they've got like TVs and man, that shit's no joke.
That's like me on Pinterest. See, I gotta add more stuff to Pinterest. I'm gonna start doing that because I'm not the Instagram guy or anything like that or Snapchat. Like,
we tried the Instagram.
I know, and it's not even right. And I still go on there and I frequently double tap on kick it like gun porn and shit like that, but. See, that's not us. Like, we need to be the Pinterest guys. Because it's...
So let's have we already have a Cigars and Sea Stories page on Pinterest. How funny is that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of all things. But you know what? Don't judge us.
Oh, Pinterest is the shit, dude. You can judge me all you want. Pinterest is where it's at. Here, let me give you a quick little tip. You ready for this one? Oh, what am I going to get my wife for her birthday? She has an entire website, a collage devoted to her hopes and dreams. Go to fucking Pinterest. Like, oh, what are we going to make for dinner tonight? Go to Pinterest. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
it's easy.
Right. Good point.
Right. Dude, I get lost on that website. Yeah. But see, I'll go on there and I'll type in like teardrop trailers and stuff like that. You can get some crazy shit. Like, I saw one the other day where the whole back opens up, you've got a kitchen, then on either side you can slide it out, and it basically is a continuation. So it's basically like two countertops that have been slid into the backside of the teardrop where it comes down and tapers down, and it's right above where your feet are when you're laying out.
Right.
Dude, it's crazy, man. It's like the full-blown setup. Listen with this fucking guy. He still doesn't even put it on vibrate.
I'm a busy guy. Shit is fucking down.
Dude.
It's on vibrate. Whatever.
Some people. This is what happens when you record at noon on a Friday. It's not only the convenience of it and stuff like that. It's because we can. Like, if I want to sit down and smoke cigars and bullshit with my buddy at the middle of the day on a Friday, I can totally do that. Lifestyle permits. Just throwing that your way. So
that's what I'm doing. I am traveling tonight, this evening, whatever.
Yeah.
First, so I actually just took down, I've got one more to take down. All my TVs off the walls in the various rooms throughout my house. I'm loading them into the car because for those of you that don't know, my family and I are moving back up to upstate New York.
Wow, the 12 people that live in Delaware are going to be really upset.
Yeah, they're going to be really sad. Yeah. So
first state, highest holes.
The first state. So I am doing that, and then I'm going to pretty much, all right, so then from 5 to 7, I've got a veterans group, what would you call it, a support group that I'm facilitating. And then I'll be on my way up to Syracuse. So I'll be there about midnight. But like I was saying to Mike earlier, is that I will be probably smoking a cigar and just listening to some podcasts or books on tape and just freaking taking in the open road, man.
Hell yeah.
Because I drive a lot and I like it. So
yeah, man.
It doesn't bother me. I'm not a big fan of driving through Pennsylvania, but
Pennsyltucky. As you like calling it.
Drives me berserk.
Dude.
Anyway.
One of the other things. Okay, so like we've discussed, and this is still in the works. We have show treatments out and all sorts of stuff. We've got the tour bus set aside. All sorts of stuff is in the works towards the TV show. It's not a dead dream by any means.
No.
We're seeing how it goes. Anyway, the next one that's on my list here is motorhome. And I recently had a conversation with a guy who's about to depart. So I'm dying to see what happens. He's our national expansion coordinator out of Bunker Labs, Derek Distenfield. Good guy. And he's traveling around the U.S., or is in the process, I believe, if not already out. And he's going to be setting up shop out in San Francisco and expanding the overall brand and stuff. But what a unique, place he was at. Just going like, okay, all of my worldly possessions that are here are in this motorhome and or they're gone. So I no longer have any tie to this place. And then now you're out traveling around with zero ties whatsoever to anywhere as a vagabond, living sustainably out of your motorhome to whatever regard.
Right.
I mean, like, what a unique time that we live in that we can do this. And I understand people have been traveling around like this for millennia, don't get me wrong, but like technology allows us to live comfortably while we're free to move about the nation.
Yeah, man. No,
it's cool.
And also run, you can straight up run a business or, do whatever you're doing from the road.
Right.
I mean, look at like Marty Skovlin.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be the air guy. I'm gonna be the guys. I'm gonna be the. I so very much want to set up shop and have a spot out in Denver where my brother lives. I so very badly want to have a Michigan house. The summers in Michigan are freaking awesome, and even Michiganders.
Yeah, it's just like the summers in upstate New York are the same. And
yes.
That's why But the winter sucks so fucking bad. Oh my God! But this is why I need to have a place down in North Carolina.
Yeah, I just want to bounce around so bad.
That's it.
That's what we got to do. See, me and all my buddies just need to have baller status pads so that we can bounce around to just everybody else's baller status pad. It's really that simple. So
I guess that's what it comes down to. From retreat to retreat.
Right. It's rough life. Signet rings and driving mocks. Wow, that escalated quickly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, dude, I'm one of these guys where I'm not burned out entirely on air travel. Like, Jesus. Oh,
I hate it so much.
Those poor folks with IVMF who are just like bouncing all that. See, for me, it's not air travel that bothers me. What bothers me is staying in a hotel. I understand that you're blowing my day. You're easily blowing my day. If we're doing a cross-country flight, that fucking day is done. You know that if you're doing a 4-dayer, it's going to be a back and forth on day 1, day 4.
Well, the catch depends on your blowing a day. It just depends because, first off, if you can get a direct flight, you're not blowing a day.
Balls early. We're talking about east to west. So you go balls early on a direct flight, and you're going to land when it's business time.
Right.
West.
So like my last trip to San Diego, that was perfect. I left out of Philadelphia I want to say it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and got to California, who was 5 hours later. So it was like noon Eastern, but it's on like 9 a.m. Pacific, So
right.
That was pretty sweet.
Right.
Got a whole day's work in. That was pretty cool.
Right.
Now coming back kind of sucked.
Right. You're taking a day.
But it still wasn't that bad. I mean, I guess it was like an 8-hour work day with everything. change in time and whatnot, but I still came back early and still got back and was able to do some stuff. So if you can get non-stop flights, it usually really just breaks it up pretty good. And if you're sitting there laying over in like, Chicago or Dallas or Charlotte or Atlanta or someplace, it kind of sucks.
Right.
Layovers suck, especially when you have those layovers and you're worried because the airlines frankly suck ass at making their times nowadays. And I've had more than my share of, oh shit, I'm running for this plane because the airline here had whatever, the plane or what other fucking excuse they have, but it sucks. Those are the worst. And, you run into it more times than not nowadays. At least I do. It seems that way.
Yeah.
So I fucking hate flying.
I'd rather deal with the rigmarole. And especially from where I'm at, RDU to San Francisco has a direct flight. So in between Silicon Valley and here, we've got a direct shot. That matters, man.
The catch is, do you have a direct flight to like Denver?
Oh yeah, definitely.
See, that's kick-ass. If you can do direct flight from there to Denver, that's awesome.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know for certain, we do not have a direct flight to San Diego, but we do to Northern California, which in all actuality is a straight shot across America.
Yeah, right.
So if you look at it on the map, a few people are like, "Oh,
it's
no,
like driving across the I-40 corridor in a plane."
Right, exactly.
All the way to Barstow.
Right. There you go. Well, and
I think that's where I-40 ends, I think.
Yeah. It's out near Barstow. It's in, like, East Los Angeles. Yeah. Because there's a big fucking sign that tells you, the other end of this bitch is Wilmington. It's like you're 3,000 miles away from Wilmington. Yeah.
It's like 2,700 miles and change.
Right. I-40. See,
yeah, dude.
That's the thing about driving around. Like, I don't mind. I've driven across the country, 8 or 9 times, whatever. But sometimes you're driving around doing highway miles and you're like, this blows. Like, I'm just going from point A to point B at that. You know what I mean?
I get it, but it depends on what you've got to entertain yourself. So if you have somebody else with you, it's usually a lot better, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it depends on if you like smoke cigars or, what kind of, shit you've got, whether you like to listen to books on tape, whether you like to listen to podcasts and all that stuff. I mean, I know it gets old after a while, but not really. I mean, if you're at least comfortable with, yourself and just chilling out,
right,
it's not that bad.
I'm totally cool with that. Like, if I could, I'd just drive all over the U.S. for the fuck of it. Don't get me wrong. It's just any time that I've ever done any type of road trip, not any type of road trip, but like if I was doing a PCS or something like that, you're just A to B, and then you've got to occupy space in between. Whereas when Jocelyn and I hit the road, we did, we went and visited Adam and Jess, and then the Oasis, went out to Denver, down to see Mark, and up. Yeah, we were going A to B, which we also saw Brian, one of my buddies, Brian Shangle. But yeah, we were bouncing around, and it was fun. We weren't listening to the radio. We were having a conversation. We were chilling out and stuff, and that was probably the first unique time we're on a road trip. It was like, okay, we're kind of in a timetable, but really it doesn't matter.
Right.
If we really want to haul ass, like in between the Oasis and Denver, we're like, fuck it, man, we got to go. It's like a 21-hour drive. You just got to go. Or something like that. I think it's that long. I don't know. It was the longest portion of the drive, but you know how that shit goes.
Yeah, man.
Dude, sure. I'm telling you, what I mean by this is it would just be so much more fun going out on the motorcycle. Or so much more fun going out in the van where it's like, no, we're bringing our house with us. We can just tool around. Like, I'm super jealous of Marty, Lauren, and his daughter, Liddy, going through just kicking ass, man. That's awesome.
Right.
So, which I don't even...
it's one of those things that's just pretty awesome, but I don't... it is.
Yeah.
It's just freaking cool.
Dude,
what an experience. And they can say they did it. This is it. Here's the first year of your life.
Well,
you know?
And he let me kind of like, I didn't get to poke around and open cabinets, but I got to pop my head inside where the main living cabinet is and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and it's so, his daughter's so freaking cute. She's adorable. Yeah. There's this little, like, you know, this little adorable baby in the middle of this, you know, traveling.
Like futon thing, you know? I mean, just, right.
So funny.
Yeah, man.
Oh, my God. Yeah, dude. Well, and then you've got, what I love is we're talking to Leo, and he's like, yeah, mine, not so much.
Not so cool.
Probably like...
You know what, though? He's got like a pull-up bar in his and like the whole thing. It's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, he pulls his shit out and does man stuff and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've got a question for you, though.
Yeah.
If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Oh, we're doing this.
Yeah, we're doing this. Why not?
So I can go anywhere. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go there. Oh, you know, maybe it's because I've been watching a lot more about it, but it would be probably Peru, which might sound strange, but there's...
what, do you want to rock like Machu Picchu out or something?
Well, it is Machu Picchu, but it's also... I want to go out into the desert and see all those desert holes. Like, you can dig down 3 feet and you've got
like
water.
rock it out in Patagonia.
Yeah, but it's... Okay, so if you look at Peru on the western side of South America, it's like desert on the coastline, and the ancients put rocks in formation and stuff like that to where travelers along the coastline would be warned and different things like that. But then also they lined up the rocks and created these gigantic, massive, I mean, they're pictures or symbols of creatures or whatever, and they all line up. And they're essentially highways that travel across the desert, and along the path, they have these shallow wells that have just kind of collapsed in with sand. But you can clearly tell, okay, trade, make your way in here. Okay, you're going to stop here. Here's how you travel inland across the desert and get all the water. And so it's like, well, how did the civilizations inland, you know, maintain this level of trade and stuff? And that's how they did it. That shit's interesting as hell. I just think that's amazing. So maybe I'm a nerd.
Could be a fucking nerd.
Could be a fucking nerd. But that's awesome though, man. Like, yeah, I'm kind of a Luddite in the sense of I want to know, dude, how the fuck did the ancients get by and maintain such massive civilizations for so long? You know, and do so to, I mean, a standard that would be considered, I mean, they were flourishing. You know, the ancient Mayans and stuff like that were flourishing, right?
Right.
Incans.
Is
it Incans? It's Incans.
Inca is Peru is Incas.
Right. So, but that's just fascinating to me. I don't know. I'm a dork. How about you?
Oh, man. I got about 1 million. I don't know if I can
See, that's what I'm saying. Because now my brain is going, fuck, you pick Peru, but Thailand would be dope right now.
Thailand.
You know? Thailand's or like Fiji?
Cool.
Dude, I'm going to go out and stay in those huts that are on stilts, like out in the just
like I've seen
water.
Those in like the, yeah, man, there's a lot of places that have that.
My wife would walk in there and she'd be like, fuck this. This place doesn't even have cable.
Yes, right.
You know, I'm naked in the water.
Right. Because, you know, I've always wanted to do like a little like summer tour of like Scotland or Ireland, like just with the wife driving around, you know, and just gonna do what the hell we do.
Yeah. You're bringing people with you. Oh yeah. No, I'm going along. My wife would hate going to Peru.
See, my wife's pretty adventurous, so in that aspect. Other than the camping part, you know, as long as we have a place to stay that's like halfway decent, she's cool with it. You know. Yeah.
Dude, you know what we should do is rent a fucking castle. You can totally do that.
I know you can. It's funny.
Oh my god, we should get some jars together and rent a castle. We got to bring Doc though. We need like 4 corpsmen on that trip.
Right.
Maybe some IVs.
With some IVs, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
IVs and foot powder.
Oh, man. Debauchery.
And like, you know, like I'm just thinking of places I'd like to go back now.
Yeah.
And like actually like take in the like Budapest. I'd like to go back to Budapest.
Oh yeah.
As like an adult, not like not a half drunken on R&R or whatever.
Center of knowledge in all the Western world, huh?
Right. You know,
you're like in a strip club.
My aunt lives in Switzerland and has for about, I don't know, 40 years. And I'd like to go visit her, you know, and that's a good hub.
Yeah.
She lives in Zurich, so that's a good hub to the rest of Europe too, man. You can rocket out into there, but, you know, again, right. Europe's cool, but it's not all it's cracked up to be either.
Well,
you know, it has its issues. So I guess if I could pick a place right now that I could just go and like chill out and like drink freaking mojitos or something.
Yeah.
It'd probably be like the Bahamas or something like that.
No, I'm staying away from the Bahamas.
Just freaking some kind of Caribbean island where I can just do nothing.
Yeah.
Or maybe go to like you know.
Dude, I want to go
like Cozumel or something. So there's like, you could go to like the Mayan pyramids or something.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of cool. But
Costa Rica.
Yeah, right. Costa Rica's pretty awesome.
Very sweet.
So.
Oh, what was the other place? Damn it. I was watching the Travel Channel.
Most of Central America is pretty awesome. Panama, Belize.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
There was something else in the Asiatic Pacific. I was looking around because I was. It's funny because one of my favorite experiences in the Marine Corps was Bridgeport, California, and it's because it was one of the very few times, like 2 times maybe, that sightseeing was part of the trip, so to speak.
Right.
You know, and it was like, wow, dude, that's a waterfall.
It's gorgeous. Bridgeport's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then the other time was, and I think our leadership thought that it was going to kind of like break our dick off or something. We hiked all the way up to this overwatch position over Kajaki. That was the only 2 times in the Marine Corps where it was quasi-scenic. And even still, I mean, you're walking around Kajaki, you're like, fuck, man, there's landmines out there. You know, you're not worried. You're not walking through it. It's basically a hiking trail that goes all the way out there. It's an unimproved trail that you then walk up and down. But you got some really cool vistas up there. That's the thing. I wish that I could have explored parts of Afghanistan. Maybe that sounds weird, but it's one of those desolate, yeah, I guess that's how I'd put it, desolately beautiful. So especially Kajaki Lake. Have you seen the pictures that we've got up of Kajaki Lake? Have I shown you those?
Yeah.
It's just an abandoned, well, I shouldn't even say abandoned. So it's dammed, right? They dammed the river, and I don't know what the hell was there before, but it's so weird. It's kind of like going out by the Hoover Dam, and you see just a lake out in the middle of the desert, and then it's barren. Yeah, it's just a weird, almost natural lake. I don't know, it's weird.
Well, you get in there, too, and there's some of the mountains, you know. I mean, it was like that in Bosnia, too. Sometimes you just look out and you go, man, this place is freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're able to, like, actually take a deep breath and go, this place is freaking gorgeous. You know, I mean, yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie?
Even Egypt was like that, too, you know. Right on the coast, especially the Gulf of Aqaba and whatnot. It's like some of the sunsets and shit that, you know, it's freaking magical. But you're like, wow, but I'm surrounded by a petting zoo. Right. So, you know what I mean? Like the view is amazing. Like these people have no idea what they, you know what I mean? Right. Like people in the States pay like millions of dollars for that shit. And yeah.
Yep.
It's just where some people live.
Dude, have you ever seen the movie Dirty Rotten Scoundrels?
Yes. It's been a long time, though. Isn't that the one with Michael Caine in it? And
yes.
Yeah,
and Steve Martin.
Yeah, I don't. I remember it, but I don't remember it.
So they're like they're con artists, blah, blah, blah. They're taking money. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm talking about the scenery. And they're basically in the... they're on the border, essentially, in between northwestern Italy and the south of France. And it's just gorgeous. It's got that beautiful blue water and the whole 9 yards. You know, it's a lot like Monte Carlo and stuff. Oh, man. I want to go take a Ferrari and just bang some gears like James Bond style around there. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
That'd be so badass. Be fun. This is happening. This is like one of those times where you and your buddies, right? You're all fucking just wasted. Everybody's drunk as piss. You're like, no, this isn't just tight. Listen, this isn't just tight. We're doing it. We're going. You might as well just book a plane ticket right now. It's happening. We got dates. Next steps. Meanwhile, you fucking either entirely forget or your wife would castrate you for it. You know, or of course the bank account doesn't lie. Or, yeah.
Exactly.
It's just, Yep.
Oh my Lord.
God. That's what we gotta do. We gotta get out there. We gotta do some international travel. It's gonna be sweet. Oh, you know what? I've looked into this. This is another Pinterest thing. Yachting? Like the giant mega yachts? Would you be down for that? Like,
well, yeah. How you gonna? You know, once we have the money to do that,
well,
that would be awesome.
Obviously.
Yeah, but those mega yachts, those things are they're just asinine. Like seriously?
You mean like a house? You mean like a houseboat? No, I mean a mega yacht.
No.
I mean, you're gonna.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Right. They're just ridiculous.
Like a SOAR squadron could land on this fucking thing.
Exactly. Like you literally
like
have
a Bond villain.
You have a full-fledged, like a 12-foot Zodiac on the, or 17-foot Zodiac on it, and it's got like a crane that like brings it off.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
yes.
Because you can't even get into, so you can go into shore, you know?
It's like, remember that show? Oh, man.
And
it's like Deep Quest or whatever, where you can just like ride your ski-doos up into the back of the thing, and then you're a dolphin that can talk to you via the weird head strap thing that's on there.
Yeah.
What show was that? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh, man.
Dude, on the side of one of these fucking yachts, they got like a super power boat that extend-o-matics out the side of the thing while you're rolling. That's so boss. You know? It's like, stay here, crew. Just chill for a second. I gotta do a 15-minuter on my buddy's yacht. You know, there's like... That's awesome. I want a cigarette boat that pops out the side of my yacht. What if you had like a catamaran where it was multiple pontoons, and then on either side it was a cigarette boat? You're like... You know? Rolling through, hitting wake. Oh, man.
Right.
Yep, this is happening. I'm getting one.
So, speaking of traveling, but a little different, it's a side note on traveling.
Yeah.
How about this freaking referendum vote in Britain about leaving the EU?
Side note on traveling. Yeah.
Dude.
Shit happens.
It's crazy.
Yeah, fuck yeah. New World Order my ass.
Yeah. Right. Holy crap, man.
I wonder what the play. I wonder what the play here is.
It's never going to happen. They're not going to let them leave.
Don't think so?
No.
Think they're just.
You watch it.
Think they're flexing? They're flexing on them?
I'm just saying. I mean, it was so close too. But anyway, I don't want to get into the weeds on it. But holy shit.
Whatever. Stamp my fucking passport. On to the next place. Adios.
That's it.
Right?
That's right.
Dude, I did not know for the longest time that there was a tunnel in between Great Britain and mainland Europe.
Oh, the freaking channel?
Right, the channel.
That with a train that goes from London to Paris?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I've never been on it, but my wife has, and she's like, yeah, basically you're just underground for like 30 miles. Well, speaking of tunnels, actually, that was the longest like man-made tunnel. Right. Now the longest one is in Switzerland. And it literally goes right through the Alps.
I thought you were going to say it's CERN.
No, Switzerland, dude.
Yeah.
It goes right through the Alps, and it's like 31 miles long.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. Claustrophobia, anyone?
Right? Oh my
shit.
God.
Yeah, it's crazy. Man.
I don't want to.
I mean, how do you? Well, see, what's crazy is like the channel. Like they showed the digging of it, and they had one machine started in France and one machine started in England, and they met in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I mean, I get GPS. Yeah, it's badass, but damn, you know what I mean?
Is that like a 20-digit grid? What'd they do there?
What is that? I mean, I don't know, man. That's just insanity to me. It's pretty crazy though. So
you're right.
Unbelievable, man. Like, how do you meet in the middle? Yeah, it's all good. And they were within like an inch of like where they were supposed to be. It was freaking just sick. Unbelievable.
That's crazy. What a world we live in.
It is.
Dude, they're talking about making a high-speed rail, and I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but a high-speed rail that goes New York City down to Miami.
Well, the kind, like, are you talking like nonstop?
I don't know.
I think that they're hitting all of those supposedly have high-speed rail, but I don't know. And it's the rail, like Amtrak is kind of a joke. I mean,
the ticket prices need to drop, you know?
I mean, if they're going to, otherwise people are just going to fly. Why would they want to, what are you going to cater to the people that don't fly? There's like, 12 of those?
Right. I guess.
So it's like.
Well, security is a lot more relaxed with Amtrak, isn't it?
Yeah, but still, it's still not fast.
Right.
I mean.
You get shit done.
It's true. Possible.
I don't know.
I remember when I took a train from Illinois to Connecticut. It took like 2 days. It was like overnight and shit.
See, that's the thing nowadays and it's like mobile office has been the thing or the going trend, trying to get more done while you're behind the wheel, but it's not what people think. It's not like, oh, good, great, something else to distract a driver. That'd be great. No.
Right.
No, it's getting work done. It's getting work done in between meetings in the parking lot and being able to pivot on a presentation or do whatever you've got to do, with whether it be with folders or your tablet or laptop or whatever in the automobile. Dude, that's another thing is it's like the integration of technology, into the driving experience. I get it. Everybody uses GPS and goes all over the place. I use GPS, but I use it for map study and then primarily figure out the streets that I need to take, so that way I gain familiarization. I use it as an exploration tool, instead of turn-by-turn direction. Because it allows you to turn-by-turn to, like, I don't even know what the name is. It just tells me 200 feet, turn right, half the time. But, I don't know. I want one of those mobile desks to be able to set it up and then Wi-Fi in. You know what I mean? Like, eventually, what would just be so awesome is to have a Suburban, right, with captain's chairs that are across there. Fuck the third row, right? It's basically like a Maybach in the back of this thing, and you just got this mobile office. It's like the Lincoln lawyer traveling around.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds great. I like it. I talk a lot into my phone when I travel, when I drive.
Hands free though.
Yeah, with my headphones on, but a lot of it's, I don't know. So I say that, but there's a lot of handsing going on. I can tell you that. I mean,
you get handsy while you're driving.
Well, you know what I'm saying,
right?
With the phone a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I try to not. I mean, this shit's just dangerous.
Right. I Bluetooth.
But sometimes you gotta say I have my headphones in, so sometimes you gotta, but sometimes you gotta hit some buttons and yada yada yada. So,
I'm telling you, it's all on the steering wheel for me.
Right.
You gotta love it
because you've got that thing. I'm not. My car isn't as high speed, I guess, but it is what it is.
Right. Well, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So,
dude, I tell you what, the one thing that sucks about that Bluetooth steering wheel thing. Is you're like, ba-doop, call, say by number or by name. Name, please.
Right. You gotta do like the whole thing.
Heather.
Like I could have freaking.
Did
done
you
this
say
all.
Heather Mobile or Heather Work?
Right. I could have dialed it by now.
Right. Like, ba-doop, and then say the phone number, which I have memorized. My wife's fucking phone number. If you don't have your wife's phone number memorized, you need to do it right now. Okay? You need to do it right now. If you're dating a girl, just memorize her phone number. I know, you're probably like, why would I do that? I'll tell you why. When Stafford County Sheriff slams open your door and drags you out of your own apartment and wrongfully accuses you for discharging a firearm in their apartment complex, you're going to need to call her to bail you out of jail, okay? And that is why you need to memorize your loved one's phone numbers.
That's right.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Just throwing that out there.
Sounds random as fuck. It could happen.
No, I have her on speed dial. Well,
right.
You
right.
need to have it in your head.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
No, you want to have that in there. And
I couldn't remember your number. I know that shit happens like every day too.
Right. Well, and anybody who's deployed understands the value of memorizing a phone number.
Right.
Duh. I remember going back over to Afghanistan. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I got to get back in that practice again. I didn't even have an address book when I went back over there, but I did have my cell phone in 2011 because they were like, oh yeah, we got to grab your cell phones, whatever. I'm like, nah, deactivated the contract and I used it as an iPod, or an MP3 player, and then we were good. Whereas on the first two, yeah, right. You want to bring your cell phone with you? No, not happening. They did like health and comfort looking for cell phones and shit. They also confiscated, for the longest time, we weren't allowed to take pictures when we were out in the Ville and all sorts of shit. There was like this whole thing, don't take pictures when you're around. And then all of a sudden on the next deployment, it's like take as many photos as you can because we're going to use it for tactical site exploitation and blah, blah, blah. It's fucking ridiculous. And then in 2011, I just sniggity snap.
That's
away.
right.
Hell yeah. Anyway. It's just, how the fuck can an organization flip-flop so much like that? It's just nuts. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Gotta love it. Yep. Memorize your wife's phone numbers.
For sure.
There you go. Dude, I'm telling you. I'm looking around for an automobile right now. Every once in a while when I'm looking for a car, I'm like, do I want to sleep in this? Am I the only one who thinks that? Is that messed up?
Well, I mean, yes.
It could arise. I mean, it could happen. Like, do I want to sleep in this car? Now, I think about everything when I'm buying a car. It took me 9 months to find the last car that I wanted to buy. You know what I mean? It was like V6, third row seating. It's got a tow. What am I doing? Now I'm looking at sedans and shit, and I'm like, do I'm going to sleep in that? I'm always like, why the fuck are you thinking?
Seat back? How far is this?
Exactly.
Back?
Exactly. And my wife's like, why the fuck? Why?
So here's this thing I saw the other day.
Yeah.
Speaking of sleeping in your car, I don't remember where I saw it, but it's this freaking inflatable mattress that you can put in the back seat, right?
Yes, over the hump.
And it fills in it gives you the whole back seat then, because the part where your feet go, right?
Right.
It fills that whole area in.
That's what I'm saying.
And so you can do that and just lay out in your back seat and sleep. I mean, it's still not good. It's still going to suck a little, but it, I mean,
right.
Yeah. But if you're on the road and you're not afraid of getting raped at a,
right,
rest stop or something,
well,
or at least you're armed.
Throw an isomat over that, or do whatever your grunt does and put your isomat in your bivvy, and bam, now you're straight.
So I had a buddy who used to do that shit where he would just flatten down the one side, like he has the 2/3, 1/3 back seat that folds down.
Oh yeah.
And he would lay in his trunk and his back seat.
Good call.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it works well.
Fucking A. See?
Depends.
You gotta
Sometimes
think
it
of
does.
that shit.
And when I used to back in the day, I had a pickup truck. I used to sleep. I had the back of it carpeted and shit, or at least part of it carpeted, so I could, put my isomat out and put a sleeping bag out, and I slept in that many a time.
I bet you had a capper and some rope lighting.
No, I didn't have rope lighting, but I had a fan. I did have a fan that plugged into the cigarette lighter. So that was cool.
You were like, hey, baby, does this rag smell like chloroform to you?
Does this smell like chloroform to you? Shit.
Dude, my buddy had a bitchin' capper on the back of his mother trucker. And it was just like, dude, you could lay out in there, you were set. And then the tailgate, what I loved also is you could lay underneath there and you could be protected from the elements, but the tailgate would be down and you flip down the window on the back of the capper. So now your head is the only thing that's exposed.
Right.
So you can still look up at the stars and everything else. And if it starts to rain or whatever, you're like, fuck, and just slide underneath the thing.
Yeah, man. Gotcha. That's awesome.
Dude, I'll never forget, like, I was the guy who would shove the isomat inside of the bivvy if we were going to deal with the elements or whatever.
Right.
9 times out of 10, if we were going to rack out and we were in bivouac, I just throw that shit on the ground, jump in my bag, and I was good. But I always slept with a bivvy, no matter what. I wasn't the guy who was going to be like, oh, yeah, let's do ranger rolls and poncho.
Well,
no.
All I ever did was a ranger roll, in the Marines at least.
See, now, if we were out in an LPOP or something like that, the ranger roll goes in your kit. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, but we didn't even have a sleep, like the sleeping. All right, so the sleeping bags we had in were those old school green Mofrakis. They didn't have the sleep system when I was in the Corps, not yet. So all we had was the poncho liner. That was our. You're not, if you're on a recon patrol, you're not carrying a fucking sleeping bag.
Right.
You're just not. Right. So we'd have the ranger roll. And then once I got into the Army, though, then they had the sleep system with the compression sack and that whole thing. And that was not bad, And up in Fort Drum, you kind of need that shit because it gets a little fucking cold.
Yeah. Well, then I like so you take the black bag, put it in the green bag, put both in the bivvy, and then sometimes what you do is you take your ISO and slide it in between the green and the bivvy down the backside, and you've got ready to rock sleeping. But you can't stuff it like that. See, so you lose a step. In Afghanistan, I'm not at all ashamed to say this. They were like, okay, you guys can get whatever isomats you want. Bad fucking idea. I immediately went out and got a Thermarest. This thing is one of the biggest, like, self-inflating isomats that you can get for backpacking or whatever, you know what I mean? So I've got this giant inflatable ISO, and it's green and tan, so it's camouflage and shit like that, but you can very clearly tell that this thing is an inflated isomat. Oh my god, dude. I've never slept like that in the field. It was luxury to the max. See, because we never had shelter halves, right? Remember shelter halves?
Yeah, we had those.
See, and all the way from boot camp, I never used them in boot camp. I never used them out in the fleet. I slept in a tent twice because they were trying to test, like the buddy system in tents. We were all like, this is the dumbest fucking thing in the world. Like, this is stupid. And they were hotter than balls, dude.
Yeah, right.
It was just like, why are we doing this? It's an extra step. Like, I'll just lay down in the desert and sleep if you would say that it was proper.
Right.
I'll just lay on my pack. I don't really give a fuck. You've seen what we do before humps. My God. Yeah, and you've got all these tents. Ugh. I just remember standing there with my hands on my hips and my fucking head hanging. Like, what the fuck is this?
The shelter hat.
Like, it's not even a shelter hat. It's a legitimate tent. It's a pop-up tent. And you're looking at it and you're like, this is fucked. Like, you shouldn't see that out of 215 Alpha. That's stupid. Like, you're supposed to live out of a backpack when you're a Marine. That's how it works. Oh, the best. The best night's sleep, hands down. And, again, Stoff would remember this. Another mortarman, lanky fuck. He and I, when we were out at mortar pauses, would sleep head toe in the back of the high back with the tailgate down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the best. The best. The doors are open, cami netting, right? So you got a light breeze coming through. Oh, that's awesome. That's where it's at right there. That's primo. That's luxury. We were on a mortar pause one time, and in the middle of the night, I was on fucking radio watch. And we were out at this pause. I remember it. They allowed us to sleep on the trucks or in the trucks because everything was rock. It was like Lavic rock. It was crazy. And we had to dig all of these rocks out in order to just set up mortars. It was just stupid. But it was the perfect mortar pause, though, I have to admit. So we're sitting out there. I'm not, listening to crypto beeps, bobbing for cock for an hour, and I'm just like, and I hear, what the fuck is that? And then it's like, what the fuck is that, man? So I pull out, no shit, and a moonbeam. I've got my K-bar, and it was the legitimate black candled K-bar. And I look in the back of this fucking high back, and there is a desert rat looking at me. It's like 1.5 feet long. We're not talking about the tail here, people. This thing is giant. It's like a squirrel with a rat tail. That's it, right? Picture that motherfucker looking at you, beady eyes in the middle of the night. And you're like, oh shit. Right? So now I'm kind of like chasing this thing around the high back or whatever. I go over to the driver's side, rip open the door, nothing. I go back over to my side, and the door kind of swung shut in the middle of the night. So I've got my moonbeam up. I'm in boots and utes, mind you. No one's monitoring the radio because, this desert rat's fucking with me. So, such a fucking asshole.
Right.
And I've got the K-bar, boots and utes, moonbeam out. I've got the toe of my boot under the corner of the door. I swing open the corner of the door on this soft skin high back, and this fucking desert rat is looking at me. And it doesn't jump at me, but it goes to jump out of the truck, you know what I mean? Like off the seat. And I swipe at it with the K-bar and slice it out of the air and stick that thing into the ground. Just stick the fuck out of it. And I'm like, fucking die! But I'm keeping my mouth shut, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to wake anybody else up. Richardson wakes up. He was a Lance Corporal. He was like a senior Lance. And this is before my first tour. He wakes up and he comes up to me and he's like, the fuck are you doing?
Oh my God.
I'm like, I fucking killed that goddamn desert rat, man. It jumped at me. It's just like that. He was like, motherfucker, you can't be killing desert rats out here and shit like that. And he starts going off. He thinks it's like the tortoise or whatever. Oh, God.
Right.
Oh,
this
Jesus.
episode I'm traveling has gone down a rabbit hole.
Oh. Well, we were traveling in highbacks, sleeping in them.
Well, there you go.
And I killed a desert rat. Shit happens when you're living out of your highback in the desert. Shit. Right. Oh, I did not eat it. They were like, you got to put that shit under some rocks. We put it under some rocks. That was it. Yeah. You know how that shit goes? That's it. There you go.
What the fuck? I'm a soup sandwich today.
We're at work right now, folks.
Fuck it. I'm getting ready to eat some chicken, so wrap this shit up.
If you haven't already done so, click subscribe, tell a friend. Hey, what we're doing here also, just to give you guys a heads up, because you're our champions. Like, you guys as audience members, awesome people. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to start including this in the beginning of episodes. More stuff coming up for user-submitted or listener-submitted sea stories. So if you've got some stuff that maybe you want to share anonymously, and we have the ability to share it on the air verbally, and you're like, we got home, blah, 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 and I didn't realize she had a dick. Like, by all means, if
just
you want to...
Just saying.
Just, as an example, you could send that in. You could post that. So that's going to be coming up. Number of different offerings.
Completely anonymous.
Completely anonymous. Yep. That's going to be coming up, unless you want us to use your name on the air, or some sort of pseudonym, which, for those of you who don't know what a pseudonym is, that means a fake name. Give us your call sign. My call sign, oh God, my call sign is homo. That's it.
Completely fitting.
All right, folks, tune in next time. God bless America and no one else. Cue the music.
I will flag unfurled to every breeze, from dawn to setting.